Dr. Kekstar moved her forearms in practice motions as she prepared the medical bay. Her blue skin shimmered under the bright lights as she checked each piece of equipment twice. Today was important. Very important. The Galactic Coalition was about to meet a new species called humans. She had been studying aliens for over 30 years. Her job was to examine new species and decide if they were safe to join the coalition. Most species were easy to understand. The Vorthans were strong but slow. The Zilith were smart but weak. The Gordaks were tough but simple. Every species had their place in the galaxy. But humans were different. Nobody knew what to expect from them. The reports about humans were strange. They came from a world called Earth. It was a dangerous place with wild weather, deadly animals, and poisonous plants. Most coalition worlds were peaceful and safe. Earth sounded like a nightmare planet where only the strongest could survive. Yet humans seemed weak. Their ships were small and basic. Their weapons were simple. Their technology was far behind a coalition standard. They looked fragile, too. The pictures showed they had thin skin, small teeth, and no natural armor. They did not look like survivors from a death world. Kekstar thought humans would be like the Mellows. The Mellows came from a harsh world, too, but they were small and scared of everything. They joined the coalition as a protected species. They needed help with almost everything. Maybe humans would be the same. The door to the medical bay opened with a soft hiss. Captain Saracen walked in with a smile on her face. She was a human representative chosen to speak for her species. Kekstar looked at her carefully. The human was shorter than most coalition species. Her skin was a light brown color with no scales or protective covering. Her hair was black and tied back in a simple style. She wore a basic uniform that looked comfortable but not protective. Her eyes were dark and bright. She moved with easy confidence. "Hello, Dr. Kekstar," Sarah said. Her voice was clear and friendly. "Thank you for taking the time to examine me. I know this is important for both our species." Kekstar's translator worked perfectly. Human language was simple and direct. "Welcome, Captain Chen. Please do not worry. This is a standard process. We examine all new species to understand their biology and needs. It helps us know how to work together safely." Sarah nodded and looked around the medical bay. The room was filled with advanced scanning equipment that could analyze any known form of life. The machines hummed quietly as they waited to begin their work. "This is amazing technology," Sarah said. "Our medical equipment is much more basic than this. We would love to learn from your advances in medical science." Kekstar felt pleased. Humans seemed polite and humble. This would be an easy examination. "Please sit on the scanning table. The process is completely safe. We will start with basic readings and move to more detailed scans." Sarah sat down and made herself comfortable. She seemed relaxed and curious about everything around her. "What exactly are you looking for, Doctor?" "We need to understand your basic biology," Kekstar explained as she activated the first scanner. "Your bone structure, muscle density, organ function, immune system, and environmental needs. This helps us know what kind of worlds you can live on and what dangers you might face." The scanner began its work. Kekstar expected to see the usual readings. Most species had similar basic biology. Bones made of calcium compounds. Muscles with standard fiber density. Organs that work within normal pressure ranges. Blood that carried oxygen efficiently but not too efficiently. But the first readings made her pause. She looked at the screen twice. The numbers seemed wrong. Human bone density was much higher than expected. Most species had bone that was strong enough for their home world gravity. But human bones were incredibly dense. They looked like they could handle gravity 3 times stronger than Earth's. "Is everything okay, Doctor?" Sarah asked. She noticed Kekstar's confused expression. "The scanner might need adjustment," Kekstar said. She ran the bone scan again. The same results appeared. Human bones were not just dense. They were reinforced with multiple layers and cross-bracing structures. They looked like they were designed to handle extreme stress. But Earth's gravity was only slightly higher than average. Why would humans need such strong bones? Kekstar moved to the muscle scan. Again, the results were surprising. Human muscle fibers were not arranged like normal muscle tissue. They were layered and woven together like cables. The density was far higher than any species she had studied. Even the peaceful Mellows, who came from a heavy gravity world, had normal muscle structure. Captain Chen, can you tell me about physical activity on your world? Kekstar asked. Sarah thought for a moment. Well, most humans exercise regularly. We run, lift weights, play sports. Children love to climb trees and play rough games. Adults work in many different environments. Some people work in construction, others in farms, some in offices. This sounded normal, but the muscle scan suggested humans were built for extreme physical demands. Kekstar had seen similar muscle density in species that lived underwater or on high-gravity worlds. Yet humans lived on a normal world and claimed to do normal activities. The cardiovascular scan was even more confusing. Human hearts were powerful beyond reason. They could pump blood at pressures that would burst the blood vessels of most species. Their blood vessels were reinforced like high-pressure tubing. Their blood carried oxygen with dangerous efficiency. Do humans have problems with their hearts? Kekstar asked. Sarah looked surprised. Some do, especially as they get older. Heart disease is one of our major health concerns. Why do you ask? Your cardiovascular system seems very robust, Kekstar said carefully. She did not want to alarm the human, but the scan results suggested that human hearts were built to handle extreme stress. They could probably function normally in atmospheric pressure that would kill most coalition species. The neural scan showed a brain that was incredibly complex. The number of neural connections was far higher than necessary for basic intelligence. Human brains looked like they were designed to process massive amounts of information under high-stress conditions. Sarah sneezed suddenly. Excuse me, she said. I think I might be getting a small cold. I hope that won't affect your scans. Kekstar paused. The atmospheric sensors in the medical bay had detected something. She checked the readings. The air now contained traces of several pathogens that humans apparently carried naturally. Any one of these pathogens would require immediate quarantine protocols for most coalition species. But Sarah seemed completely unaffected. She was fighting off multiple infectious agents and calling it a small cold. Her immune system was apparently handling threats that would hospitalize entire coalition worlds. Captain Chen, Kekstar said slowly, Are you feeling well? Oh yes, very well, Sarah replied. Just a little tired from the journey. And maybe a slight headache from the different atmospheric mix on your ship. But nothing serious. Different atmospheric mix. Kekstar checked the environmental controls. The air in the medical bay was optimized for coalition standard. It had slightly less oxygen than Earth normal and different trace gases. Most species needed time to adjust to atmospheric changes. Some needed breathing assistance. But Sarah was functioning normally in air that should make her feel weak and sick. She was complaining about a small headache when she should be struggling to breathe. Something was very wrong with these readings. Or something was very wrong with human biology. Kekstar began to suspect that humans were not the weak, helpless species they appeared to be. She decided to run more detailed scans. What she would discover would change everything she thought she knew about biology. Dr. Kekstar stared at the scanning equipment with growing confusion. The machines were giving readings that made no sense. She had used this equipment for decades. It was the most advanced medical technology in the galaxy. It never made mistakes. But every scan of Captain Sarah Chen showed impossible results. Let me try a different scanner, Kekstar said. She moved to the molecular analysis unit. This machine could examine living tissue down to the smallest parts. If there was something wrong with the other equipment, this would show normal readings. Sarah sat patiently as the new scanner hummed to life. Take your time, Doctor. I know this is important work. The molecular scanner finished its analysis. Kekstar looked at the results and felt her stomach drop. The readings were even worse than before. Human cellular structure was completely wrong. The cells were packed with protective proteins that should not exist. The DNA was wrapped in multiple layers of repair mechanisms. Most species had basic DNA protection. Humans had DNA that looked like it was armored for war. Captain Chen, can you tell me about radiation on your world? Kekstar asked. Radiation? Sarah thought for a moment. Well, we get sunlight, of course. Some areas have higher natural radiation than others. People who work in certain jobs have to be careful about exposure, but it's not usually a big problem. Kekstar checked the readings again. Human cells showed adaptation to radiation levels that would sterilize most coalition worlds. Their DNA repair systems were so advanced they could probably survive in the radiation fields around dying stars. She moved to the next scanner. This one analyzed blood composition. Surely this would show normal results. Blood was blood. It carried oxygen and nutrients. How strange could it be? Very strange. It turned out human blood was not just efficient at carrying oxygen. It was dangerously efficient. The red blood cells were packed with oxygen-carrying proteins at densities that should make the blood too thick to flow. But somehow it flowed perfectly. The blood also contained immune cells that looked like tiny warriors. They were designed to fight infections, toxins, and foreign substances with extreme aggression. Do humans get sick often? Kexthara asked. Sarah laughed. All the time when we're children. Most kids catch everything going around. But we build up immunity pretty quickly. Adults get sick less often. Our immune systems are pretty good at adapting. Kexthara looked at the immune system analysis again. Human immune cells were not just good at adapting. They were perfect killing machines designed to destroy any threat to the body. They could probably fight off diseases that had never existed before. The atmospheric analysis scanner beeped. It had finished examining the air around Sarah. Kexthara read the results and nearly dropped her tablet. The air now contained traces of over 50 different chemicals that were toxic to most coalition species. Sarah was apparently breathing out poison as a normal part of her biology. Captain Chen, I need to ask about your world's atmosphere. Is it dangerous in any way? Earth's atmosphere. Sarah considered this. Well, it can be. We have pollution in some areas. There are natural gases from volcanoes and swamps. Some plants release chemicals that can be harmful, but people adapt pretty well. We've always lived with it. Sarah was casually describing atmospheric conditions that would require emergency protective gear for most coalition species. She was treating deadly toxins like mild inconveniences. Kexthara tried a different approach. She activated the stress response scanner. This machine measured how organisms reacted to difficult conditions. It could show how much stress a being could handle before their body started to break down. The scanner had trouble getting baseline readings. Sarah's stress response system seemed to be running at very low levels. Her body was completely relaxed despite being in an alien medical facility surrounded by unknown technology. Are you nervous about this examination? Kexthara asked. Not really, Sarah said. You seem very professional, and the Coalition has a good reputation for treating new species fairly. I'm actually excited to learn about your medical advances. Excited, not nervous. Sarah was showing less stress than most Coalition species showed during routine medical visits with their own doctors. Her body was treating this unknown situation as completely normal. Kexthara decided to test a pain response scanner. This would measure how humans dealt with discomfort. Most species had similar pain thresholds. Pain was important for survival. It warned the body about danger. I need to do a small test that might cause brief discomfort, Kexthara explained. The scanner will apply light pressure to your arm. No problem, Sarah said. The scanner activated. It applied pressure that should cause mild pain in most species. Sarah showed no reaction. Kexthara increased the pressure. Still no reaction. She increased it again. Most species would be crying out by now. Sarah looked bored. Is it working? Sarah asked. I can feel something, but it's not uncomfortable. Kexthara stopped the test. According to the readings, Sarah had just experienced pressure that would break bones in some species. She had described it as not uncomfortable. The temperature tolerance scanner was next. This would show what environmental conditions humans could survive. Kexthara expected normal results. Most species could handle temperature changes of 10 or 20 degrees before becoming stressed. The scanner showed that humans could function normally in temperature ranges that spanned over 60 degrees. They could survive in conditions that would freeze most species solid or cook them like food. Their bodies automatically adjusted to temperature changes that would kill other organisms. What kind of weather do you have on Earth? Kexthara asked weakly. Oh, all kinds, Sarah said cheerfully. It gets pretty hot in some places, pretty cold in others. People live everywhere from deserts to frozen areas. We just dress appropriately and adapt our homes to the local conditions. Adapt their homes, not avoid dangerous areas, not require specialized support. They just adapted and lived in conditions that will be considered uninhabitable by coalition standards. The gravity tolerance scanner showed results that made Kextara dizzy. Humans could apparently function in gravity fields ranging from nearly zero to several times Earth normal. Their bones and muscles automatically adjusted to different gravitational conditions. Most coalition species needed months of preparation and medical support to handle even small changes in gravity. Humans seemed to treat it like changing clothes. The diagnostic computer started flashing warning lights. Too many impossible readings were overloading its analysis programs. The machine was designed to handle any known form of life. But human biology was breaking its understanding of what life could be. "Doctor, are you feeling all right?" Sarah asked. "You look a bit pale." Kextara realized she was staring at the screens with her mouth open. "I'm fine, Captain Chen. The results are just unexpected." "Is that bad?" Sarah looked concerned. "Are humans incompatible with coalition biology? We really want to join the galactic community." Incompatible. That was one way to put it. Humans were not incompatible with coalition biology. They were incompatible with the laws of physics as Kextara understood them. Every skin showed the same impossible truth. Humans were not weak survivors from a dangerous world. They were walking disasters held together by biology that should not exist. Their bodies were designed to survive conditions that would destroy entire coalition fleets. And Sarah Chen sat there smiling politely, completely unaware that she was a living violation of everything medical science thought it knew about life. "Let me run one more test," Kextara said. Her voice was barely steady. "I want to check your metabolic efficiency." She was beginning to suspect that the previous scans had only shown her the beginning of the problem. Human biology was not just unusual, it was impossible. And she was starting to understand why Earth was such a dangerous world. It was not that Earth was dangerous for humans. Earth was dangerous because of humans. Dr. Kextara had spent 3 hours running medical scans. Every test showed impossible results. She was starting to feel desperate. Maybe the problem was not with her equipment. Maybe the problem was that she did not understand what humans could really do. "Captain Chen," she said carefully, "I would like to run some physical tests to understand your species' capabilities better." Sarah looked interested. "Physical tests? Like exercise?" "Yes. We have equipment that can measure strength, speed, and endurance. It helps us understand what kind of work environments different species can handle safely." "That sounds useful," Sarah said. "I'd be happy to help." Kextara led Sarah to the physical testing area. This room was filled with exercise equipment designed for all coalition species. The machines could be adjusted for different body types and strength levels. They were built to handle even the strongest known species safely. "We'll start with something simple," Kextara said. She activated the grip strength tester. This machine measured how hard someone could squeeze. Most coalition species scored between 50 and 100 units. The strongest species ever tested had reached 200 units. Sarah took hold of the testing device. "Just squeeze as hard as I can." "Yes, but don't strain yourself. This is just for baseline measurements." Sarah squeezed. The machine beeped and displayed a number. Kextara looked at the result and blinked. 450 units. That was impossible. The machine must be broken. "Let me try the other hand," Sarah said. She seemed completely relaxed. The result was 460 units. Sarah had just broken every known record for grip strength. She had done it without effort, breathing normally, and asking if she could try again. "Is that normal for humans?" Kextara asked. "I think so," Sarah said. "I'm not particularly strong compared to most people. Athletes and construction workers are much stronger than me." Much stronger. Sarah had just demonstrated strength that exceeded the most powerful species in the galaxy, and she claimed to be below average for her species. Kextara moved to the lifting test. This machine measured how much weight someone could lift safely. It started with light weights and increased gradually until the person reached their limit. The strongest coalition species could lift about twice their body weight. "This will test your lifting ability," Kextara explained. "The machine will add weight slowly. Stop when it becomes difficult." Sarah stepped onto the platform. The machine started with weights equal to her body weight. She lifted them easily. The machine added more weight. Sarah continued lifting without any sign of effort. Her breathing remained normal. Her heart rate barely increased. The weight counter kept climbing. 100% of body weight. 200%. 300%. Sarah was now lifting more than any coalition species had ever achieved. She looked bored. Is this working correctly? Sarah asked. It feels pretty light. Kexthara checked the machine readings. Everything was functioning normally. Sarah was lifting weights that should be crushing her bones. Instead, she was asking if the machine was broken because the load felt too easy. Keep going if you feel comfortable, Kexthara said weakly. 400% of body weight. 500%. The machine's warning system started activating. It was not designed to handle this much weight. The platform began making stress sounds. At 600% of her body weight, Sarah finally showed some effort. Okay, this is getting a bit challenging, she said. Should I stop here? A bit challenging. Sarah had just lifted more weight than some coalition starship engines could handle. She described it as a bit challenging. Yes, please stop, Kexthara said quickly. She was afraid the machine might break. They moved to the running test. This was a treadmill that could measure speed and endurance. Most coalition species could run at about 20 kilometers per hour for short distances. Endurance species might manage 30 kilometers per hour. This will test your running ability, Kexthara explained. Start slow and increase speed as you feel comfortable. Sarah stepped onto the treadmill. She started jogging at what she called an easy pace. The machine showed she was moving at 25 kilometers per hour. That was already faster than most coalition species could sprint. This is nice, Sarah said. Can I go a bit faster? This feels like walking speed. Walking speed. Sarah was treating sprint speeds like casual walking. Kexthara increased the treadmill speed. 30 kilometers per hour. 40. 50. Sarah looked comfortable and relaxed. She was not even breathing hard. How fast can this machine go? Sarah asked. Kexthara checked the maximum settings. 80 kilometers per hour. Oh, that's not very fast, Sarah said. But it's fine for a light warm-up. Light warm-up. Sarah was planning to use speeds that would tear most coalition species apart as exercise preparation. They reached 60 kilometers per hour. Sarah was now moving faster than coalition emergency vehicles. She looked like she was enjoying a pleasant morning jog. At 70 kilometers per hour, the treadmill started shaking. It was not designed for these speeds. Sarah noticed a vibration and slowed down. Is your machine okay? She asked with concern. I don't want to break anything. The endurance test was even worse. Most coalition species needed rest after running for 10 or 15 minutes. Sarah ran for over an hour at speeds that should have killed her. Her heart rate stayed steady. Her breathing remained easy. She asked if they had any water because she was getting slightly thirsty. Slightly thirsty. After running fast enough to outpace most coalition aircraft for over an hour. Let's try the reaction time test, Kexthara said. She was running out of tests that made sense. This machine measured how quickly someone could respond to unexpected stimuli. It would flash lights, make sounds, or create movement. The person had to react as quickly as possible. Most coalition species had reaction times between half a second and 2 seconds. Sarah's reaction time was consistently under 1/10 of a second. She was responding to stimuli faster than most coalition computers could process them. Her reflexes were quicker than electronic systems. This is fun, Sarah said after the test. It reminds me of video games back home. Video games. Sarah was treating tests that challenged the limits of biology like entertainment. The flexibility test showed that humans could bend and stretch in ways that should dislocate their joints. The balance test revealed that Sarah could maintain perfect stability in conditions that would make most species fall over immediately. The coordination test demonstrated that she could perform complex movements with precision that exceeded robotic systems. Every test revealed the same impossible truth. Humans were not just unusual. They were living violations of every biological principle Kexthara had learned. Doctor, Sarah said after the last test, you look really worried. Are the results bad? Do humans have some kind of biological problem that will prevent us from joining the coalition? Biological problem. Sarah was asking if humans had a biological problem. Kextara almost laughed. The problem was not with human biology. The problem was that human biology was too perfect, too efficient, too powerful. Captain Chen, Kextara said slowly, can you tell me about sports and exercise on your world? Oh, we love sports, Sarah said enthusiastically. Football, basketball, swimming, running, weightlifting, martial arts, rock climbing, skiing. Most people play some kind of sport. Children start very young. It's considered important for health and fun. Important for health and fun. Humans were treating physical activities that would cripple coalition species as recreational entertainment for their children. What about dangerous activities? Kextara asked. Sarah thought for a moment. Well, some sports are more dangerous than others. Boxing, rugby, ice hockey, mountain climbing, skydiving, motor racing. People do get injured sometimes, but that's part of a challenge. We have good medical care. Get injured sometimes. Sarah was describing activities that would be classified as suicide attempts by coalition standards. Humans did them for fun and considered occasional injuries to be acceptable risks. Do humans ever fight each other? Kextara asked. Unfortunately, yes, Sarah said sadly. We still have conflicts and wars. It's one of our biggest problems as a species. We're working on it, but we haven't solved it completely yet. Conflicts and wars. Kextara felt a chill run down her spine. Humans fought each other with bodies that could survive almost anything. They waged war with biology that exceeded coalition safety limits. They treated combat as a solvable problem rather than an extinction event. The ship's AI suddenly activated an alert. Dr. Kextara, please report to the bridge immediately. The Coalition Council requires an emergency consultation. I have to go, Kextara told Sarah. Please wait here. We'll continue soon. As she hurried to the bridge, Kextara realized what was happening. Her test result had been automatically transmitted to the Coalition database. The AI systems had analyzed the data and reached the same conclusion she had. Humans were not a weak species seeking protection. They were apex predators pretending to be harmless. And now the Coalition had to decide what to do about it. Dr. Kextara rushed to the bridge of the Coalition research vessel. The emergency meeting was already in progress. Representatives from 12 different species appeared on holographic displays around the room. All of them looked worried. Commander Veltar, a tall Vorthan with gray skin and 6 eyes, spoke first. Dr. Kextara, we have reviewed your preliminary reports about human biology. Please tell us these readings are incorrect. I wish I could, Kextara replied. I have checked and rechecked everything. The results are accurate. Human biology is far beyond anything we have encountered. Council member Zixara from the Zilith Collective leaned forward. Her large brain pulsed with concern. According to your data, humans can survive in environmental conditions that would kill our entire species. Is this correct? Yes, and they consider these conditions normal living environments. A murmur of alarm went through the council. Representative Gol from the Gordak Empire slammed his massive fist on his table. Impossible. No species can be that resilient and still be intelligent. That's what I thought too, Kextara said. But I've spent hours with Captain Chen. She is highly intelligent, diplomatic, and friendly. She's also capable of physical feats that exceed our safety equipment limits. While the council argued, Kextara returned to the medical bay. Sarah was sitting patiently, looking at a tablet displaying information about coalition species. This is fascinating, Sarah said when Kextara entered. Your coalition includes so many different forms of life. I'm reading about the Mellows here. It says they come from a world with heavy gravity and dangerous predators, but they seem very peaceful. Yes, the Mellows are protected species, Kextara explained. Their harsh homeworld made them fearful and cautious. They need our help to survive in galactic society. Sarah nodded thoughtfully. That makes sense. Dangerous environments can definitely affect how species develop. Earth has been pretty challenging too. Can you tell me more about Earth? Kextara asked. She was hoping to understand how humans had become what they were. Sure, Sarah said cheerfully. Earth is a beautiful world, but it can be tough. We have extreme weather patterns. Hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, droughts, floods. The temperature can range from 50 degrees below zero to 50 degrees above zero in different places. Kextara made notes. Temperature ranges that would require emergency life support for most coalition species. Humans called it beautiful. What about animals? Kextara asked. Oh, we have amazing wildlife, Sarah said with enthusiasm. Big predators like lions, tigers, bears, sharks, crocodiles. Smaller dangerous ones like snakes, spiders, scorpions. Some plants are poisonous too, but humans have learned to live alongside most of them. Live alongside them, not avoid them or hide from them. Humans coexisted with predators that could kill most coalition species, and natural disasters. Kextara continued. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, asteroid impacts. Sarah listed casually. We've learned to predict some of them and build structures that can survive others. People adapt pretty well. People adapt. Sarah was describing planetary catastrophes as minor inconveniences that required basic preparation. Tell me about human children, Kextara said. How do they survive in such a dangerous environment? Sarah smiled warmly. Kids are amazingly tough. They love to explore and play. They climb trees, swim in rivers, play in snow, run around in all kinds of weather. Of course, we watch them carefully and teach them about safety. But children learn fast. Children learn fast. Human offspring were apparently more resilient than most adult coalition species. What games do human children play? Kextara asked. All sorts, Sarah said. Tag, hide and seek, soccer, basketball. They love playground equipment like swings and slides. Many kids play contact sports like football or hockey. Some learn martial arts. Swimming is very popular. Kextara tried to imagine coalition children playing contact sports. The idea was terrifying. Most coalition species kept their young in protected environments until they reached full maturity. Do children get hurt during these games? Sometimes, Sarah admitted. Cuts, bruises, broken bones occasionally, but they heal quickly and usually want to get right back to playing. Kids are resilient. Resilient? Human children routinely survived injuries that would require intensive medical care for adult coalition members. What about human medicine? Kextara asked. How do you treat injuries and illness? We have pretty good medical care, Sarah said. Surgery, medications, physical therapy. People recover from serious injuries all the time. We've learned to repair broken bones, damaged organs, even some brain injuries. Life expectancy keeps improving. People recover from serious injuries all the time. Humans treated major medical trauma as routine healthcare situations. Captain Chen, can you describe a typical day for a human worker? Sarah thought for a moment. Well, it depends on the job. Construction workers lift heavy materials, work in all kinds of weather, use powerful tools. Farmers work long hours in sun, rain, heat, and cold. Miners go underground in dangerous conditions. Soldiers train for combat and survival. Athletes push their bodies to extreme limits. Office workers sit for hours, but many exercise before or after work. Each job description would require hazard pay and special safety equipment for coalition species. Humans did them as normal employment. What about food? Kextara asked. Humans eat all kinds of things, Sarah said. Meat, vegetables, fruits, grains. We cook food with heat, spices, acids. Some people eat very spicy food that makes them sweat. Others eat fermented foods, raw fish, aged cheeses. We drink alcohol, caffeine, and other chemicals for pleasure. For pleasure. Humans consume substances that would be classified as toxins by coalition standards. They did it for entertainment. Do humans ever get sick from this food? Sometimes, Sarah shrugged. Food poisoning happens occasionally. Most people's stomachs are pretty tough, though. We can eat things that might make us sick and usually recover quickly. From food poisoning that would hospitalize coalition species for weeks. Captain Chen, what do humans do for entertainment? Sarah's eyes lit up. Oh, we love entertainment. Movies, music, books, games. Many people enjoy extreme sport like skydiving, mountain climbing, deep-sea diving, motor racing. Some like roller coasters and other thrill rides. We have theme parks designed to be exciting and a little scary. Designed to be scary. Human created recreational activities that simulated dangerous situations for fun. Are these activities safe? Mostly, Sarah said. There are safety regulations and equipment. People do get injured sometimes, but that's part of the excitement. The risk makes it more thrilling. The risk makes it thrilling. Humans actively sought out dangerous situations because they found risk enjoyable. What about transportation? Kekstar asked. Cars, planes, trains, boats, Sarah listed. Many people drive vehicles capable of high speeds. Some ride motorcycles or bicycles in traffic. We travel to different climates and environments regularly. Mountain hiking, desert camping, Arctic exploration, underwater activities. High speeds, dangerous environments. Coalition transportation was designed for maximum safety and comfort. Human transportation was apparently designed for speed and adventure. Do humans ever travel alone to dangerous places? All the time, Sarah said. Solo hiking, camping, exploration. Many people enjoy the challenge of surviving in wilderness areas with minimal equipment. It's considered character building. Character building. Humans sent individuals into life-threatening situations as a form of personal development. Kekstar felt overwhelmed. Every aspect of human life will be classified as extremely hazardous by coalition standards. Yet humans treated it all as normal existence. They didn't just survive in impossible conditions. They thrived in them. They sought out danger for entertainment. Captain Chen, Kekstar said carefully, have humans ever fought wars? Sarah's expression became sad. Yes, unfortunately. Throughout our history, humans have fought each other over resources, territory, beliefs, and politics. We've had wars with primitive weapons and wars with advanced technology. It's one of our greatest shames as a species. Are humans still capable of warfare? Yes, Sarah admitted reluctantly. We maintain military forces for defense. We have weapons that can destroy cities or even continents. But most humans want peace. We're trying to solve conflicts through diplomacy instead of violence. Weapons that can destroy continents. Humans possess planet-killing technology and considered it defensive equipment. Captain Chen, if humans can survive anything and fight anyone, why do you want to join the coalition? Sarah looked surprised by the question. Because we don't want to be alone in the galaxy. We want to learn from other species and share what we know. We want to trade, explore, and build friendships across the stars. We believe cooperation is better than conflict. Her answer was sincere and hopeful, but Kekstar now understood the terrible truth. Humans were not seeking protection or guidance. They were offering to limit themselves voluntarily. They were apex predators asking to join a community of prey species, and they genuinely wanted to be friends. The question was whether the galaxy could survive their friendship. The emergency session of the Galactic Coalition Council was the largest in recorded history. Representatives from every member species joined the discussion. The holographic chamber buzzed with nervous energy as beings from across the galaxy tried to process Dr. Kekstar's final report. High Chancellor Mordun, an ancient ethereal with translucent skin, called for order. Fellow council members, we face an unprecedented situation. The species known as humans has requested membership in our coalition. Dr. Kekstar's biological assessment reveals they are unlike anything we have encountered. The chamber fell silent. Everyone had read the reports. Everyone understood the implications. Let me summarize the findings, Dr. Kekstar said, standing at the center of the chamber. Humans can survive in environmental conditions that would kill most of our species. They can lift weights that exceed our safety equipment limits. They can run faster than our emergency vehicles. They can survive injuries that would be fatal to coalition members. They consume substances we classify as toxin for entertainment. They seek out dangerous situations for fun. Representative Quillen from the peaceful collective raised a tentacle. Dr. Kekstar, are you saying humans are warrior species? No, Kekstar replied. They are much worse than a warrior species. Warriors are dangerous in combat. Humans are dangerous just by existing. Their normal daily activities would require hazard pay and medical support for our species. Council member Briggs from the Safety Union spoke up. Perhaps we should classify Earth as a forbidden world. No coalition species should go there. That would solve nothing, said Ambassador Zen from the Trade Federation. According to the reports, humans want to travel throughout the galaxy. They want to visit our worlds, work with our people, and establish trade relationships. The chamber erupted in concerned voices. The idea of humans visiting coalition worlds terrified many representatives. High Chancellor Mordun called for order again. Dr. Kexthara, what is your professional recommendation regarding human membership? Kexthara took a deep breath. I recommend immediate acceptance into the coalition with full membership status. The chamber exploded in shocked protests. Species representatives shouted in dozens of languages. Some demanded to know if Kexthara had lost her mind. Silence. High Chancellor Mordun commanded. Dr. Kexthara, please explain your reasoning. Because, Kexthara said calmly, the alternative is having humans as neighbors without any agreements or regulations. Captain Chen made it clear that humans will continue exploring space with or without our approval. At least as coalition members, they will be bound by our laws and treaties. The protest quieted as representatives considered this logic. Furthermore, Kexthara continued, humans genuinely want to be peaceful. Captain Chen expressed sincere interest in cooperation and friendship. She was horrified when I asked about human weapons capabilities. She emphasized that most humans prefer diplomacy to conflict. But what if they change their minds? Asked Representative Tejuises from the Defense Alliance. What if humans decide they want to conquer rather than cooperate? Then the galaxy is doomed whether they are coalition members or not, Kexthara replied bluntly. Humans possess technology capable of destroying continents. Their biology allows them to survive in conditions that would sterilize our worlds. If they wanted to conquer the galaxy, there is nothing we could do to stop them. The chamber fell into uncomfortable silence. However, Kexthara added, I don't believe conquest is their goal. Captain Chen spoke passionately about learning from other species and sharing knowledge. She was excited about cultural exchange and scientific cooperation. She asked detailed questions about coalition member species and seemed genuinely interested in their welfare. Ambassador Cree from the Diplomatic Corps leaned forward. Dr. Kexthara, how do we know humans will follow coalition laws if they are so much more powerful than us? Because they want to, Kexthara said simply. Captain Chen repeatedly emphasized that humans are trying to move beyond warfare and violence. They see coalition membership as a chance to prove they can be peaceful. They want our approval and acceptance. What about the practical problems? Asked Coordinator Vash from the Engineering Guild. How do we design facilities that can accommodate human biology? Our life support systems, our transportation, our safety equipment. We adapt, Kexthara said. Or better yet, we let humans help us improve our technology. Captain Chen mentioned that humans have experience with extreme environments and dangerous conditions. Their engineering solutions might benefit all coalition species. The debate continued for hours. Some representatives wanted to reject the human application outright. Others suggested creating a separate category of membership with special restrictions. A few brave voices supported full acceptance. Finally, High Chancellor Mordun called for a preliminary vote. All those in favor of human membership in the coalition. Hands, tentacles, and various appendages slowly rose around the chamber. The count was close, but the supporters had a slight majority. The motion passes, Mordun announced. However, we will implement a probationary period with specific protocols for human integration. Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Captain Sarah Chen waited patiently for Dr. Kexthara to return. She had spent the time reading about coalition history and technology. She was particularly interested in their medical advances and environmental protection systems. When Kexthara finally returned, Sarah looked up with a hopeful expression. How did the examinations go? Doctor, are humans compatible with coalition biology? Kexthara sat down heavily. Captain Chen, the Coalition Council has voted to accept humanity as a member species. Sarah's face lit up with joy. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for your thorough work. I know this will be the beginning of a great partnership. There will be some special protocols, Kexthara warned. Human strength and endurance capabilities require safety considerations when interacting with other species. Of course, Sarah agreed. We want to be careful not to accidentally hurt anyone. Humans can be pretty clumsy around more delicate beings. We'll need training on proper interaction techniques. Not to accidentally hurt anyone. Sarah was worried about Coalition's safety while being completely unaware that she was a walking weapon of mass destruction. Captain Chen, Kexthara said, "Can you tell me about human plans for space exploration?" "We're very excited about it," Sarah replied. "We want to establish peaceful contact with as many species as possible. We hope to learn new technologies, share our own innovations, and maybe help with any problems other species are facing." Help with problems. Kexthara realized that humans might actually be useful to the Coalition. Their impossible biology and advanced technology could solve challenges that had plagued the galaxy for centuries. What kind of help could humans provide? Kexthara asked. Sarah thought for a moment. Well, we're pretty good at working in dangerous environments. We could help with construction projects on hostile worlds, rescue operations in extreme conditions, exploration of unknown regions. We're also developing new technologies for medical treatment, environmental cleanup, and resource extraction. Environmental cleanup, rescue operations, construction in hostile conditions, all the dangerous jobs that Coalition species struggle with or avoided entirely, and humans would volunteer for these dangerous assignments. Absolutely, Sarah said enthusiastically. Many humans love challenges and want to help others. It would be an honor to contribute to galactic civilization. As Sarah spoke about human eagerness to help, Kexthara began to understand something important. Humans were not just incredibly dangerous. They were also incredibly useful. Their biology that seemed impossible might be exactly what the galaxy needed. Captain Chen, Kexthara said, "I think this partnership will be very interesting for everyone involved." "I hope so," Sarah replied with a warm smile. Humans have always believed that cooperation makes everyone stronger. We're looking forward to being part of the galactic community. Dr. Kexthara began updating her medical textbooks. She would need to create an entirely new classification system. Humans would not fit into any existing category. She settled on a new designation: species of beneficial impossibility, handled with extreme caution and gratitude. It was not very scientific, but it was accurate. The galaxy would never be the same. But maybe, with humans as allies rather than enemies, it would be safer than anyone had imagined, as long as everyone remembered to be very, very careful around the friendly monsters who just wanted to help. After all, the most dangerous thing in the universe might be a human trying to be helpful.